Recording. Okay, here we are. Another Saturday Night Live, Saturday, July 13th, 2019, I believe. And we have Scott back, special guest Scott, to
Yeah.
share what's been happening, with his, since his first MFS and all the massive transformations that he experienced. And then we'll let him speak. And
Yeah. No, and you're right on, Gino. And in fact, Master Fasts continued long after I broke my fast. I want to say at least the first year after I broke the fast, my bowels continued to just work amazingly well. Like I don't think my bowels ever worked that well in my life.
Well, there's a lot happens in 100+ days. There's a lot going on that we can't fathom to comprehend.
Yeah, I think of that first fast. I think it was right around 128 days or something like that, or 100 right or 120 some days. So yeah, but just for those who might not know my story, the first time around, I really was looking for something to help with the pain and tingling in my feet, and it was this started probably when I was like. I don't know, my right foot, started my right foot probably when I was about 33 to 35. And, as I said in my previous video, I tried all sorts of stuff. I've been tried, and I had dental work done one time. I just tried taking some of the medication to try to numb the pain, to see if it would even touch the foot pain, to see if that was a viable option.
That was your main focus, right?
Yeah. It didn't even touch it. It was just like when you have a damaged nerve, I don't know, it's kind of weird. So anyways,
for me, having experience with nerve pain, sciatic, like severe, I was in bed ridden and so on. There's nothing that helps with that pain. There's absolutely no drug, nothing. Maybe a baseball bat. No, seriously.
Oh, seriously.
There's nothing really that helps that pain. It's severe.
Right. Yeah. So, but I will say this. So that was my motivation for the first fast. Okay. And after that time period, the pain wasn't kind of dulled. I mean, it was nearly gone. I was really kind of surprised, but it was really gone. To the point where I could walk again. I mean, there were some days before I had done my first fast where I felt like I needed to, get one of those motorized carts to do my grocery shopping in the shopping, just in the grocery store, so it wasn't, it was pretty intense. But there's a few things that happened on the Master Fast, and I just want to say, Luigi and Rana, first off, officially, congratulations on getting married. And can I just say, you guys are like some of the sweetest souls on the face of the earth. I mean, I seriously am so grateful for both of you. At the end of my fast, some of the things I wasn't really expecting was some of the emotional stuff to continue on. And, I thought, oh, I'm eating again. Some of this is going to subside. And, I did volunteer to become an admin on the page, and you guys really accepted me. And I just want to say, I really appreciated that experience and very thankful for it. I just wanted to say too, that with time, it was very clear to me that like trying to help other people while dealing with your own stuff. I mean, you guys, I just don't even know how you do it. Seriously, Gino, like when you said a few videos back, you were like, I'm just like any of you guys. I need as much support as anybody else does. So, I really feel that and just appreciate it. I can't imagine, having a trying day with your mom or with a family or whatever, and the other challenges you have. And then you just show up every Saturday happy and ready to go. Same with you, Rana. So
I can't see most people would be able to handle this. Honestly, it's not nothing special. It's just it's something that, because of everything I went through, it's just that mission that my soul says, I got to keep doing this, right? Because there's so many people that are in looking for this kind of information, and it's helped so many. So that's what keeps me going, is all you guys that are doing it. You know, that's what keeps that driving me going, even though I'm, you know, doing everything and all this stuff's going on, and I'm still here because I have not seen anything out there at the level of the massive fast support. I've been doing this for 3 decades. I've not seen it.
Yeah, I mean,
I've seen pages come and go and crap come and go and so on and so forth. There's a lot of good stuff happening out there. You know, I'm not knocking anybody, but we have to make it and take it to a whole different level, because we're, you know, when I started sharing this information, I really didn't get into any of the spiritual and soul stuff. I was getting bashed enough by the cooked juice.
Right.
Little by little, if you look at the videos, Ranji's watched them all, but you know, as it could possibly be, because I'm just sharing my experiences. And little by little, I started introducing the plasma and this and that, and then getting into the soul more and more and more, because really that's what it's all about. The physical stuff, guys, it's cinch. Anybody can fast, really. But once you start, you know, bringing in all those, allowing those weaknesses to surface, which is all emotional, then we start seeing the reality of the things, and the mirror of truth comes into our face. And then you start seeing
deeper than
what people are really going to do. Are they really going to embrace this, or are they going to go back to their old ways? And you know, the answer for most people is they're going to go back to their old ways, because it's just the understanding is not there that this is a lifetime journey, which is what we started saying right from the beginning. You know, people are coming to solve this, that, and the other thing. Okay, but you know, we're trying to express the information so people can gain the understanding. This is a lifetime experience. I don't care what anybody else says out there. It doesn't faze me, because I've been through so much of that stuff, and I've been led down the wrong paths and with hopes and this and that. You got to keep doing it, and keep doing it. Just commit and let it happen. But you know, it's awesome, Scott, to have you back. You know, you know, for once you go through something like this, what I found through my experiences, we like to test things. Is this possible? I feel this good. Okay, I can eat a little bit of this and test a little bit of that. I'm still feeling good, you know. I'm feeling a little, and we have to test ourselves, right? And this is what I see everybody do, because I've done it too, right? It's not.
No, I think you're right, Gino. Yeah.
I'm no different. We tempt things. We tempt. Anyway, I'm going to allow you to continue.
Yeah.
No, that's okay, Gino. I seriously, that was totally worth it. I mean, you know, the other thing I wanted to say to you and Rana especially is just, you know, as time went on, you know, the overwhelm factor was just kind of creeping in just a bit. And, you know, I do have a kind of a fairly stressful job from time to time. And, you know, just dealing with the overall stress and some of that, I think, you know, that's kind of where some of that nonsense comes from on my side. You know, it's funny. And I think because I talked to Lisa, you know, Lisa and I were kind of in contact after I'd broken my fast. And I think I shared with her, you know, I was just like, I don't know how I'm going to do the master fast again. But what that really meant, that I just think at my deepest, you know, if I just kick the ego out of the way for a second, I think what that really meant is, you know, I just had a really good look at my self, and it scared the living shit out of me. And I just don't know what to do with this information. Okay. Like if I'm going to be true to my soul, what I basically feel like is I have to find a way to live my life 180 degrees differently, you know? And honestly, I was like, hey, I know what to do. Eat food, work hard, and just forget about it.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I mean, like, it's funny, you know, you know, I was brought up in a pretty traditional conservative household, you know, where, you know, my dad worked really hard. And, you know, I know that's it's way part of modern life anyways, to be able to support yourself. But I also think it provides at least men and women who are doing, I'm not trying to be, you know, gender biased or anything like that, a good reason not to address themselves sometimes. And that's at least what I did for myself. And probably for the next 2 years, I was just like, you cannot pay me to eat the psyllium pudding again. I don't care. I'm just not going to do it. You guys, I'm not going back to that group. It's just, and of course the whole time my soul is saying, Scott, what are you talking about? Like you had some of your greatest breakthroughs on the master fast. You had, you were finally able to address some of your deep anger issues that you had in your life and some of this other stuff. And so that's just kind of what happened. And so, yeah, I just kind of went back to my old eating routine and,
Kirsty and everybody else.
Right, exactly, dude. I didn't want to hear anything about raw fruit or raw food, any of that. I was tired of trying. I mean, literally, I just got tired of trying. And so, but your voice always sticks in the back of my head. It's not like a curse. It's just because the truth is the truth. It's different. It's not like you're getting in trouble by your parents. It's just sometimes when somebody tells you the truth, it's hard to argue with that. And, slowly but surely that the pain in my feet started to return more and more. Some of my sleeping issues came back.
How long did that start? A year or two?
Yeah, about a year, at the year mark.
A year?
And then then at that point in my mind, I was just kind of like, Scott, even if you just have to get onto the Master Fast page and just start reading people's experiences and kind of just feel the energy there, feel the love there. Just, I heard a lot of people say things like, oh, I've been on the page for a year and I finally did my fast. I don't identify with that type of person. I'm not saying that's the wrong way to do it. I got on the page. I wanted to start the fast before I even knew the protocol. Okay, that's just where I was because I was so eager to try something. And I think there's both good and bad to that. The bad part is in our eagerness to do things, that's how we get suckered into a lot of stuff. I just got lucky that I happened to be in a really supportive, loving group. Like if I was going to win the lottery in any way in life, I'm glad I went through the Master Fast. Like seriously. But no, and even when I first started, I think for the first couple weeks, I just even was on some, like really cheap herbs from the herbal store. There's nothing even like the Star 4. It was just like, oh, here's some, I basically went in and just said, hey, I need some herbs for my liver and kidneys and this. I didn't even know how to explain it all. I just like this system, whatever your livers and kidneys and all that is part of, just, I need support there. And they put a few herbal tinctures together. And then I kept on seeing on the page, of course, it was a little different. Cause I think this is like 2 years ago or so I want to say, right. 2.5 years ago. I can't remember exactly.
Yeah. Time flies.
Anyways, like everybody was saying, then I think something happened, and this was obviously before I was an admin, or people were getting poor results without proper herbal support. I really feel like at one point it was super clear to see those people who are going to be like on a few herbs and try to do this long term. Your body isn't going to have a good time. Okay, I mean, there literally is times when, there's times like when you are detoxing, let's say your kidneys, that your adrenals can start to spasm. What are you going to do then? Your body at that point in time does not have what it needs, but those herbs have the energy fields to calm them down, for example. And so, I mean, same with the burn stick, but I'm just saying that's kind of where I came from with the herbs. But anyways, yeah, about a year after or so. And, the other thing I was going to say, for like the first 6 to 9 months, even when I was just eating, my portion was extremely small in comparison as to before. Even if I was just eating real, just whatever, your average food. Like we would go out to eat out to a restaurant or something, and I would just look at my plate and just be like, at first I thought I could easily split it between 2 people, but after the fast, I was like, you could probably feed a family of 4 with this thing and be okay. That sounds reasonable. A $20 plate, 4 people. That sounds reasonable to me. Anyways, but I will have to say that eventually that too did go. I mean, and I will say, like, the more stress that I harbored in my life, and that's one thing that Master Fast, no matter what, it is stressful to do Master Fast. It is emotional. But what we don't realize sometimes is you're having these deep emotional experiences because they're coming out. They're coming out of you. And it's not like, you're having a bad day at work and so you want to come home and cry and eat a full gallon of ice cream, right? It's like, this is the healthy kind of release.
Release, yeah.
Where tomorrow you might think of whatever the heck it was that just used to bother the living hell out of you is now no longer triggering you. It's gone. And that can be really intense. That can be intense work. But so then at about the year, just after a year, I was like, Scott, I guess you can just sit here and wait until you are worse off than when you started Master Fast. You can just continue to go downhill. I mean, and at this point, I still was just as stubborn about doing the Master Fast again. I was like, I don't care. I'm going to get on the page and I'm going to read about people. And you guys, they're not going to be able to convince me to do it. Okay. That's essentially where I was at. But, at the same time, again, my soul is sitting here saying, Scott, dang well why you're getting on this page. So just calm down. We'll get you through it. And, I think just shortly after joining, Ranji had reached out to me, and I just started reading the stories again, and just kind of, we started going through my journal. I actually filled a couple of journals while I was on the Master Fast the first time. And I just realized, this really isn't about drinking grape juice, doing enemas, and consuming herbs. It's really hard to explain. And I think I'm kind of to the point down that path where sometimes the things that happen to me, I know are just for me. But this is one thing I really wanted to touch on, though. What's reserved for me is no better or worse than what's reserved from anybody else. I mean, the universe will grant everybody exactly what they need. So, just because someone comes out and says, no, that experience was for me, that's okay, because there's so many experiences reserved for all of us that are so equally great. There's no need to worry about it. So the last couple weeks, let's see, what was it? Let me look on my calendar. I finally just said, okay, look, man, you have the herbs, you've been talking on the page, and more importantly, you've been feeling good about doing Master Fast. I remember it. I know. Yeah, right. So I think I started it on midnight of July 30th. Okay.
You always remember the experience.
And for this last time, June 30th, and then after that Zoom call, I'm not going to lie, Junia was like, yeah, we're not really encouraging people to do the long 1-800-8-day fasts anymore. We want people to adapt it as a lifestyle. And I was so entrenched in doing another long fast, it kind of blew me away. I was like, Gina, what the hell are you talking about, man? I'm like, why do you always change this stuff up on me? But you can see there's my ego, it's really happy to get involved at any point in time, right? And then I was like, dude, if you really think about it, at the end of your last fast, Rana was really telling you should try to just do Master Fast 6 days a week, have one meal on Sunday or Saturday or whatever day you decide, and just kind of get that feeling, okay? Well, I didn't think it was going to be that big of a difference, especially fasting for like 4 days. So I fasted for 4 days. I had a bowl of cherries, and then I was like, oh my gosh. I really wasn't ready to break the fast. So this is going to be a lot of nonsense, and I apologize. And so it became a big, huge, nonsensical fast break, okay? I just ate a lot of food, but then I went another couple days, okay? And just in case, if people want to be nonsensical like me, that's okay. But there is one key thing, okay? And I think Gino will agree at least I'm hoping you will. If you guys get stuck in your fasting process, and what I mean by that is things stop moving, do whatever you have to do to get your bowels moving again. Like if you're on a longer dry, even on your regular, fasting, and for whatever reason you're taking the juice and then you start taking in the psyllium pudding, or if you're eating food especially and your bowel movements stop, then I don't care what you do, but you got to get your bowels moving again. And I think, at least for me, I have found that if I can get into that state again, then it's safe for me to start fasting. Like, it's okay. Like, the things are moving, things are flowing. I'm not going to get in trouble. Boom. So then I was like, that after that first day, I think it took me like 3 days. So then I started again and did like 2 days, and then broke my fast again. And I'll tell you the difference between fasting and eating is intense.
Is this when you broke your first one?
No,
or now?
Recently.
This is just been the last week and last week, 2 weeks or so. Yeah. So I'm not going to go like break 132-day fast and then go to my favorite Mexican restaurant. That would be
just to let you know, Scott, it's not easy. Like for me, when I start Master Fast Weekly, which is like 1 day a week, or even 2 days a week, it's not easy to start. I always took about 3 weeks of like up and down, up and down, up and down before I said, okay, now I feel better, and I stick with it. So it takes time. It always took me at least, I would say, at least 3 weeks. So yeah, you want to be patient with yourself. But sometimes,
okay.
But the lifestyle, I mean, do your best when you eat, to eat better. Like, like it's a short fast, so it's not going to be dangerous. But still, soup, vegetable soup or something like that, or, whatever. Keep it vegan, keep it, cleaner, less fats and stuff like that, which are very obstructive, and protein and stuff. So do your best. It's not easy to start, the routine of fasting and eating, but many people are doing it actually these days, right? Some people are doing 3 days a week or 4 days a week. I'm sure it took them a while after their long master fast to feel, okay, now I understand the lifestyle. They say fasting is so easy. This is challenging, but at the same time, it feels amazing because you have
Right.
both experiences. You have the fasting and clean eating, which, like, what else do you need? Like, you're eating and you're fasting. You're having the benefits of both. And of course, when they're eating better, cleaner, and but as well, it's challenging a little bit, because when you eat, you have a little bit of temptation, but also before the temptation, actually, you're not going to have the temptation from the first day of eating. The first day of eating, at the end of that day, you will be like, or even after the meal, you'll be like, it doesn't taste like as good as I thought, So you will really learn about fasting and eating. You'll be like, okay,
Yeah.
I see the benefits of fasting, and I don't know what I'm eating, so it helps you understand it better.
No, and that's kind of like the food level, but for me at the physical level, and I did want to put this on the video just in case people watch this, but literally it felt like I got the first, because, and I know this is horrible, you guys, but I'm just going to tell you anyways. I had been in a dry fast for the new moon, and that's when I broke after the day of the new moon, the following day, that's when I broke my dry fast with a bowl of cherries, and then just ate a whole bunch of food. Well, the next morning when I woke up, it was like, seriously, it was like I was hungover. Like, it was worse almost than being hungover. My head was hurting. It just felt like I had this massive, whatever in my stomach. And that's why I was saying, I was like, that was the first thing in my mind was, oh my gosh, I've got to get my bowels moving, because those were the signs to me, like, okay. So I just spent 5 days getting into this blissful state. And then within like an hour, I put myself into a literal food coma, right?
That's what it is.
So anyways, no, I did take it. After that, it took a few days. And I'm glad you said that, Rana, because I was like, gosh dang, I really don't know how people are doing this. Going 1 day eating and then 1 day fasting and then 1 day eating or 2 days fasting.
You got to stay with light food.
Yeah, no kidding. Cause it's like emotional roller coaster for me right now.
I mean,
But I think but in some ways this is good because for the first time it's allowing me to see, look, the foods that you're eating are really not supporting you. They're really not doing this.
the more obstructive the food, yeah, the more addictive. So that's why
Right.
do your best, fasting. Well, when you fast, you're not gonna crave pizza,
Right.
yeah, you're gonna crave more like not even vegan pizza, you're going to crave more like a nice good fruit and vegetables, even if you want cooked vegetables. But yeah, your cravings will be cleaner, but once you start eating the junk, fruits doesn't look good.
Right. No, it doesn't. No, I agree.
It doesn't look good.
No, and I can just say, but this is also, providing a natural, like, kind of space. Okay, so there's kind of more to my journey here, and I don't feel, I feel like I can share this part. But, I've never been afraid of the darkness, the dark side of things, and sometimes it doesn't bother me to sit here in a negative space, so to speak, in order to try to figure things out. Like I'm okay feeling the negativity with knowing that I am not the negativity, so to speak. Okay. And, just for a lot of reasons, I don't think I'm a very positive person inside. When I decide to do something, I have a high willpower. I have a lot of willpower, but not necessarily the greatest feelings inside. And I finally got to this place where it was darker than usual. And it was like I was stuck in the mud, literally. Like it was like I hit something hard. And at first, of course, being a little bit fascinated by the darker things in life, I want to make this my pet. Maybe I can figure it out, and, usually some in some moments, I was like, I could trace this feeling back to this childhood memory, or maybe this has been a reoccurring theme in my life over and over, and I could do it. But this kind of just felt like emptiness. It was weird. And it just felt really dense and dark and cold. I mean, it was just like, there really wasn't anything positive about it. And I probably felt this way for probably 2 days, two or 3 days. And I wasn't the most pleasant person to be around in the last few days because of this. But then all of a sudden it occurred to me, I was like, and this is just for me. I mean, it may not be for everybody. I'm only speaking from my own experience. I was like, this is the end of darkness, Scott. When darkness darkness can bring things together and makes things dense and difficult. And immediately after, I just kind of had this feeling like, if you expand yourself in the light, it's impossible to see the darkness. And, if you think about expansion, if you were going to take literally a ton of rock and spread it over a field, how much harder would that be than taking a light source and spreading it over the field? Okay, you just turn the flashlight on or whatever, and the light just does whatever it's going to do, right? That's kind of the way the light is. And I think for the first time in my life, I mean, even though you kind of, from the time you're little, always hear the stories about good and evil and all this kind of stuff, but this was a different type of experience because it was more like, I'm not watching somebody else's story. I'm experiencing my own. And so then even today when I woke up, I was like, I'm going to go have a massive breakfast, and I'm going to go to this place and have all these eggs and cheese and all this stuff. And I was just like, dude, no, you're not going to do that. And I mean, it kind of made me grumpy, but at the same time, I was like, see, Scott, if you just give this a little bit of patience, there really is some intelligence there when you have to, for lack of a better word, flip the field, right? One side is eating, one side is fasting, and flipping it takes energy. I mean, there's no other way around it. It's like, when I was a physics student at college, we used to hold, we held a wheel on a bike like this, right? And we started spinning the wheel like crazy. And now our teacher said, and as the wheel was spinning, you know, oh, it's easy. Just flip it like this. When you do that, it's really hard. It's super hard. And, you know, I kind of liken that on, you know, however fast the wheel is spinning is kind of the representation of, you know, where we're at in our addictions. The slower that wheel turns, the easier it is to just flip that sucker back and forth. And so that's what I keep on reminding myself. Right now, my wheel's spinning pretty highly, but I feel it slowing down. So I'm kind of excited about that. So that's kind of, I don't know, that's kind of, I would say that's kind of it in a nutshell. I'm still, you know, I'm still really tied to the master fasts. I may not be perfect in my eating and fasting yet. I know none of us really are. I mean, we probably, even Gino is like, damn, I wish I would have broken that fast this way instead of that way at times. But I just feel like the important thing, and I really appreciate your encouraging words, Rana. You were like, I can't remember, one of the Master Fast videos, like in the past few weeks, you're like, if you can just do Master Fast for 1 day a week, that's awesome. I was just like, okay, that is awesome. Okay. Just to be able to break free from it all just for 1 day, have your fast and enjoy it, recognize it as an accomplishment. And even if for the rest of the 6 days, it kind of goes downhill, that really is something, because you've taken at least 1 day to do what you needed to do. So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Yeah, giving the body that break, the mind the break, and you know, just feeling it out. Like, you know, if we look back at, depending what age we are, how many meals have we eaten? You know, how many more meals is it going to take to satisfy us? It's never going to happen, right? And that's the whole monkey mind thing, that, oh, one more meal. It's a never-ending cycle, and we got to find a way to be able to have that balance where we can enjoy ourselves on both sides of the eating and the fasting. And everybody's going to be different. And that's okay. But if you decide to go back to 7 days a week eating, in today's world, not many people have a chance. Just look out there, what's the sicknesses out there.
Yeah.
We eat way too much food. Like about 6 months ago, I was saying 6 days a week eating max. Now I'm saying, no, it's still too much. 5 days a week max for anybody. 1 day dry, 1 day liquid. That's really where the absolute minimum to be able to live this lifestyle, because 1 day a week is just, your body actually starts to get into the fasting mode, I find, between 24 to 48 hours.
Yeah.
1 day is just that, boom, okay, now I'm starting. We need those 2 days to get the body into that state of elimination mode and be able to unload and move things. Because if we don't, we're just building. And then we end up with whatever you want to call it, challenges we have in this life. So this is the key for all of us. Where's the balance that we're going to be able to actually, you know, love and look forward to our next fast? I'm always thinking about my next fast. Always. Doesn't matter what I need.
You know, yeah.
Always.
Yeah, you know what? The best thing is to see it, of course, see it as a lifestyle. Like, forget about a long fast if you're not ready, like, for a long fast, right? Because who cares? You know, you can do 40 days, you feel amazing, but then the 40 days will finish, and then what? You're gonna start again to like great. I mean, if you can clear up your body, you know, a little bit with 40 days, that's amazing. But before you do the 40 days, be clear in your mind that, okay, this is the lifestyle that I see myself living. Let's say 3 days a week of fasting, 2 days liquid, 1 day dry, master fast. And when I eat, you know, I want to really do my best. Maybe just eat raw food, you know, just fruits and vegetables, 2 meals a day, or, you know, or 1 meal a day, and do intermittent fasting the rest of the day. So you know, we just have to sit down, and everybody knows themselves. Everybody knows what, you know, what lifestyle is best for them, suits them best with their whatever is happening in their life, you know. So people have to decide for themselves. We cannot really tell them what lifestyle they should live, you know.
Yeah, you know, to make that commitment statement, I never want to eat again. That's huge. That's massive. That puts so much pressure on the whole physical, mental, and emotional state of somebody. And you know, some people will be able to do it. That's not a problem. But you know, it's going to take some really deep connection with some deep work, and you know, really, really, really trusting in soul, because without that, it's not going to happen. I don't care what you say.
Yeah, like
you got to have that total trust. There's only one person who's done it, and it's Marin. But he was on his deathbed. He chose life. In his mind, he saw no other option because he wanted to live, right? And he did it. He did. He's the only one.
And we really don't know why he didn't. I mean, he didn't really talk much about why he didn't want to eat. I think, I'm not sure. Maybe it was like the bad reaction when he ate before Master Fast, right? The bad reaction, maybe it scared him. Maybe, I don't know. But he didn't really talk too much about why he didn't want to go back to food. He just knew he didn't want to go back to food from the beginning, which is amazing. But he's different. I mean, his body really went through so much, all the surgeries, and didn't have the lymphatic system. So God knows how he felt, you know. But I did say in the past, over a year ago, I did 116 or something days. I did mention, I think day 2, I told Gina. I didn't post about it, but I was about to post, and actually Gina said, yeah, you don't need to say that. Yeah, you don't need, but I did decide that I don't want to eat again. And I did 116 days. Eventually, like, I lost quite a bit of weight, and that was a little bit stressful towards the end. And what else?
Or was that, Ronald? Was that the time? Was that the time you're getting a little pressure from your family too? I know, or just remarks in general. I can't remember. I just remember you saying at one time that you were having a hard time because you felt like people were not really supporting you, or something like that.
There were points, some points, but that was the first Master Fast where I had the most challenges with the family, because they had no idea if I were okay, you know. But after the first one, I gained weight again, and I did it again. You know, I did the Master Fast again, and then they kind of like, oh, yeah, she's fine, you know. Like, even if she loses weight, she's fine, you know. And then I introduced Gino, and then they were like, okay, I guess they're both crazy, so I'll just leave them alone.
Families, they're never gonna stop. It's been 3 decades. I still get comments here and there, so it doesn't stop.
They thought I'm crazy. They met him. They're like, okay, Rena's normal, you know. And same thing with your mom, you know, like your mom, one time you were dry fasting. I think the first day I met her was Christmas, and I think you were doing a 7, like, longer fast, and it was day 7 or something. And your mom was, she criticized you. She said, oh, your intestines are gonna like close on themselves, you know? You need to eat. And he lost a little bit of weight, not like, you know, most people. He lost a little bit. And she noticed the weight loss, even if it's a little bit. She noticed it. And she was like, you know, your intestines are gonna close on themselves. And I looked at her and I was like, what? I said, his intestines are very happy right now. And at that time, I think she thought I'm crazy. It was the first time I met her, the first day. Yeah, so we defend each other. I mean, I can't take it when somebody would tell him that you're. I said, you guys don't know what you're talking about. This guy is helping thousands of people. You have absolutely no idea.
Well, and we're getting bombarded by thousands of people. So you really have to be in a state where the mirror of truth is clear, because you're faced it over and over and over and over and over again, and what everybody's telling you, is all bullshit. So it doesn't have any effect on you anymore, because if you allow it, that's a different story, right? But you keep referring to your mirror of truth because you've experienced it so many times, and that's what keeps me going. That the nectar of God, as we love the taste of nectar of God. It's a place where you really can't have words to explain the feeling, and that's what keeps me going over and over and over. Fall off here and there with everything going on, pressures and this, that. They're all excuses and so on and so forth, but the reality of the matter, as I've made this statement before, it's way harder to fast today in this fast-paced world than it was 3 decades ago. Honestly.
But at the same time, it's easier in a way now because there are many crazy people like us online,
Well, we have support system now.
Before we could not connect, like you'd be isolated, crazy isolated. You might go to the hospital, because you're just too crazy.
Hospital was never an option in my mind, so for other people, but for me, it was never that option.
Like, mental, like our families might send us to a mental institution or something because they just don't understand, and you don't have.
If that happens, Rhonda, don't worry, I'll come bust you both out.
It's interesting. Some people's happen to. So one guy, he's on 15, 20 days. They put him away. They tied him up and they injected him and fed him meat, force fed him. Like, what the hell? Where are we? What kind of world are we living in?
Now, definitely fasting is a big thing worldwide, So
yeah,
it's very much accepted, way more than ever, I think.
The support system is one of the key elements for anybody to succeed living and loving this lifestyle. Without it, I don't see people succeeding. I don't. We've seen it for 4 years now. And the people that take off, they go back to their old ways and so on. So the people who stay connected, the few, even though they're not consistent, they're every single day, but they're consistent, meaning they're there every 1 or 2 or 3 weeks, or some of them maybe a couple of days a week, and we see them over and over. You know what I mean? They're living and loving it. Because they're connected, and the people that come onto the Zooms even better, because we have the interaction, we have that awesome fields support within each other. We can feel it more, and this is why I keep doing this, because this is the only way I see that we're going to succeed in anything to do with this. It's an eating world in every sense of the way. People are eating each other and eating everything and anything in between. And everywhere you turn, it's about eating. So how are you going to survive in a fasting lifestyle in an eating world? How are you going to do it? You do it with a support system. That's what I see.
Like-minded people.
Like-minded people. And it's the few of the few that are doing this kind of thing. Everybody's got gazillion versions of whatever out there, especially after we've introduced MFS out there. People have done whatever they've done. They believe they have a new understanding, superior or whatever, but it's all agenda-based from what I've seen. The understanding comes through the experiences. That's all I can say over and over and over again. And, a decade in this lifestyle is really nothing. Nothing a decade. And I don't know about you guys, but when I look at my life growing up and so on and so forth, I see this illusionary time going faster and faster and faster. Like, months are going by like, wow, another month went by. It's like, whoa, I remember as a kid walking to school, it took like, it was like an eternity to get there. It was, 20-minute walk or whatever. So now, a month is 20 minutes, it feels like, you know what I mean? There's something with, feels like time is sped up. This illusionary thing of time. And
Are you enjoying life too much?
It's awesome. Anybody else want to throw their 2 cents, share, inspire, support?
Can I add one more thing about, because I thought it's really interesting, you know, because some of us say that I don't want to eat again. And yeah, I mean, it's a wild decision, really. It really is. When I remember when making it, I was like, yeah, I really don't care to eat, you know. And that's from day 2. It's not like, you know, I was into day 60 and, you know, have 0 cravings or 90, you know. It was like second day. But I felt like I looked at my notes. I looked at my notes from day, I think, when I did my interview. And I compared this and that, pros and cons to fasting and eating, even eating 1 day a week. And I was like, I mean, it's crystal clear that fasting is way easier than eating, and like way more like freedom, you know, than more freeing than eating even 1 day a week. So that was a big reason for me to choose fasting for life. But as I said, at like day 116, I did actually Islamic fasting towards the end, and that was like a little bit pushing it because the daily dries were too long, and I was not ready for it. So I increased my daily dry towards the end of that long fast, and that's when I felt really tired. So I don't recommend doing that. And I lost weight so much so fast, so that's where also I started getting criticism, and it's not fun to be criticized all the time. And the other thing is when I prepared food for family or friends, hosted people, I sometimes thought, you know, it would be nice to experience this, you know. So there was like, even when I was not hungry or not craving, I thought it would be nice to experience this food. It's clean, it's just fruits or vegetables. So I think there is always, you know, maybe a little desire to try for the experience, not for the food to fill you up, but for the experience. You know? So the weight loss, I think, usually is an issue, and the other issue is the wanting to experience food again, even a little bit.
The body, mind, and emotion are just not ready. They haven't developed to sustain it, and that's the problem. I've seen so many in many years. Oh, if somebody's under 30, 40, 50 days fast, I'm breatharian now, and then you never hear from them again.
Hey, Rana, I reckon from my perspective is that what Gino said was correct before, that when you actually say the words, I'm not going to eat food again, what is it that you can contextualize within your body and your mind when you actually say those words? And you're right, it puts too much pressure on an individual to actually say that, because the environment and everything that's around you is all around food. So even saying the word, I don't even, like, for me now, I don't even know what the word food actually means. So I think it's that word and what meaning and feelings that's in your body that you actually attach to it.
Yeah, but
yeah, do you know, I mean, that's just my perception of it. Yeah,
totally,
I think, yeah. But the way that when you compare between how you feel when you're fasting and when you're wanting to have food for pleasure, for social occasions, to be with the people that you love and care about, I think whatever you do in order to move through that for yourself is perfect for you at that time in that moment. And the pressure that you can put on yourself is just way too much. I think like what Scott said about flipping, because I love flipping. Flipping is one of my favorite. Yeah. But I think not easy. No.
It's energy. You know, it was not pressure. I have to say, it was not pressure when I made the decision. I think for some people, but you have to really study it, because I did it for, at that time, I think 2 years into master fast and eating, and 1 day a week for a while. I did, and massive fast for 6 days a week. And when I ate fruits and vegetables. So because I experienced all this, I was able to conclude and say, like, even 1 day a week, like, was tough. And I remember the experience. So, like, honestly, I don't believe anybody who would do 1 day a week for like 90 days will be sold on eating 1 day a week. You know, they will conclude, it will be so clear in front of them that eating is not the way. Because they're fasting for 6 days, you know, they're feeling amazing for 6 days, and then they, you know, it will be so clear. So I don't think anybody can do that for too long, because it's just not the way. But at the same time, you know, so I studied it. You have to really study that and compared my notes. I had notes, right, for my my interview. I looked at them and I was like, Rana, what are you confused about? You know, like, it's so clear right in front of you. Fasting is definitely the way to go. And it was easy. It was really easy, I have to say. It was more like freedom. The decision was more like freedom than pressure. And of course, as you get cleaner and cleaner, the freedom is more, right? It's like, I love this, you know, I'm so productive, I have so much time. But I don't know how realistic it is to just stop eating. Maybe it's not realistic. Maybe it feels amazing for like over 100 days, and then at some point you feel like, but you know, maybe I'll try this. I'll try this fruit from the tree, you know, just for the experience. But you want to be smart, I think, and you want to really control, you know, not to go back to eating for the whole day, you know, like 3 meals or something, because the cravings will come back. It's like a trap, really. Food is a trap, so you really want to be careful how you eat.
The whole thing about this food thing is, it's not the food we're looking for. We're looking for the experience of the energy exchange, and that's how all the universe works on energy exchange. We can't stay without energy exchange. You will cease to exist very quickly. As long as we're getting an energy exchange at the soul level, meaning emotional, you can sustain yourself infinite. But as soon as that is not met, you're going to be lacking, feeling that lackness, and you're going to be searching for something. And most of us will go to the food, right? You know, we love the experience of eating. We love the experience of socializing. The socializing aspect, you know, there was that post. It's more of the interaction field with the family, loved ones, friends, than the actual food itself.
Yeah, you can have an amazing time fasting.
Yeah, we love that. You know, I love to eat. I love the taste and feeling everything. But after what the body has to do with it, use so much energy to process. I don't like that feeling. But I love the process of eating, you know, social. I love that. I've always had. That's not going to never go away. It's never going to go away. Even if I come to the point where I'm done eating physical foods. But this is the entanglement that we're confused, I think, as to what truly are our needs or our deepest desires to sustain ourselves.
You have socialized also fasting and with people who are eating. It was good too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. many times. So it's all wonderful how, you know, when you're socializing, when you're not eating, everybody else is eating, you know. it's a nice place to be in, just watching people, and you get a whole different perspective when you're not eating than when you're eating.
And then they complain, oh, I'm so full, and you're like,
yeah, the mirror of truth, it's right there. You know, you realize it more and more and more. The more you fast, the more you realize the mirror of truth, and it's a beautiful place to be. So Ranjit,
well, I think I posted that thing on the page about my mum's 73rd birthday, and happy birthday to your mum too, Gina, because it looks like we've got our mums on the same date. Yeah. And because I didn't eat, obviously, and I didn't have any expectations. I never thought of anything. The only thing I thought of is being in joy. That was it. Nothing else. I knew I wasn't going to eat. I knew that was not going to happen. I was never concerned. I didn't have any thoughts about, because I've lost more weight. I didn't have any thoughts about that, even though I got a couple of comments. But there was no thoughts or anything. It was just about joy. It was just joy. That was it, feeding that energy field, Gino, like you said. And then getting there, the amount of, I'm so full of love that if anyone comes in my field, you're going to cop a big hug from me. You know, that's just basically, it doesn't matter if I don't get my haters, you know, because I had family haters there too, because they don't like me being slim. They like the old me. But, you know, they're going to cop it. So the one thing I love about children, though, they never say anything, right?
Exactly.
And you give them a hug and they freaking hug you back. And you know, I did headstand. I had to show all my nephew and nieces I could do my headstand still. So we did headstands upstairs while the adults ate downstairs. You know, and I was just in my party mode. And my energy was just too high. There's nothing that, when you're in that state, I feel, when you're in that particular moment that you're in, the soul and the angels or energy fields, whatever you want to call them, they operate for you. So what you do, I find, is that surrender thing, which I love so much now. I love surrender. Is that when you surrender and you let that take over instead of your mind wanting to try and work it out, it just works. And I think in a fast, when your channels are cleaned up and you're less obstructed and you're living the less is more lifestyle, your art of subtraction, B equals P minus R, you're just in it. Everything around you, the universe just seems to support you and you don't actually have to do anything. So when people come to you with any negative or anything like that, it doesn't penetrate through. Like, I actually don't hear it, if you know what I mean. I actually don't attach myself to anything like that. And I don't know where that's come from, Gino. And I want to actually, can I just have 5 minutes and then I'll get off and I'll let other people speak? Because thank you very much. Thank you for my space. What I wanted to say is, when I first did the first 108 days, and I remember you used to say that you were the few do this, right? And I never actually believed you, Gino, right? And I was thinking, why is it that I never believed Gino saying that? And I had a realization, I know why now, is because I was actually 100% self-absorbed in me. I was actually selfish. I was 100% so self-absorbed that I wanted to learn. The only thing I wanted to learn was dry fasting and be with God. Okay, that was it. The whole thing about food and all these other diets that people have done, but you know, it didn't enter into my realm at that time. I just wanted to learn the MFS protocols, and I wanted to do that perfect, right? That was something I was just channeled into, because I know systems work. If you throw yourself in a system, it actually does work, especially when you trust and surrender. Soul told me to trust and surrender, even though I know you did as well, but that all came into confirmation for me. I threw myself into those videos. Like, when I look back on it, my initial period of time of creating my foundation, that first part, was so highly important that it actually feeds me now more so than it did at the beginning. So when I did that, all I ever saw were people that were master fasting. So all those interviews and everything like that, that was just my whole world. So when I went onto the page, and sometimes you heard negative things, or you heard people complain, or you heard this and that, I used to just like flick it. Like, I'm going, well, if you want to do it, do it. If you don't want to do it, why complain? Like, move on. That's how I kind of thought, because I actually thought everybody on that page was actually master fasting. Because when I went and listened to the stories and interviews, I'm thinking, oh yeah, I don't know what Gino means by saying the few, because how come all these people are fasting? Like, it didn't correlate in my brain, because my focus was like that. And I'm going, oh, these people did 108 days, but then I really strategically, I'm just sometimes I can be too over-focused and too self-absorbed, but I strategically wrote down all the things that could be possible risks. Okay, so your kidney pain, the dizziness, the headaches, and all this, and all the things that may not be aware of, but my surrender and trust in the soul was going to take me through that. So I already knew that. Then I wrote down all the things about your tools. You know, your burnt stick, you know, the 4-3-2 music, the slow breathing. Just like, you have no idea my obsession and self-absorption in this, because the one thing that I wanted the most, and it wasn't about giving up food, it wasn't about anything like that, it was just about being with the soul. Nothing, bang on, that's it. It was nothing about how much weight I was going to lose. It was nothing about healing or a particular disease. It was nothing even about emotions. Even though people talk about that a lot, like they talk about it in the interviews, how these things come up. And I just thought, well, okay, if that comes up, that's all right. Like what Scott said before, I'm okay with the dark stuff. I don't really give a rat's ass about the dark stuff. Bring it up. I don't care. Let's see if it's there. Let's deal with it, you know, because, you know, I'm, you know, 49 this year. I've dealt with a lot of shit in my life, so I can deal with it, a lot of other shit, right? So bring it up. So I want to apologise to people because I ignored you, the ones that really were suffering through this. And I ignored the ones that were struggling between the balance. And I ignored the ones that that may even look at me now, and maybe they want to do this and they can compare. And I don't think they fully realise my journey before I got here, which is all about letting go. I let go of a $125,000 career as a general manager. I let go of material things. I went into a minimalisation situation, which I didn't even know was going to lead me to here. So there's a lot of stuff like I did 3 or 4 years prior, before I actually got to Master Fast. And then my mind is empty because I'm not filled up with other stuff. That my ability, I say, God, thank you for giving me this space, because now I can have my space to be with you. You know, so when I knew with fasting and having some, you know, through my life, I know I feel that taste of the nectar of God. So you can't take that away from me. So it's like what Scott said before, everyone's got a unique journey. So that's how I was so self-absorbed, Gino. And I didn't ask many questions, as you know. I just went through it. I got onto the Zoom calls, and nothing in my life was going to budge me to what it was. But I had no plan, right? I just thought to myself, do 40 days, 40 nights like Jesus. And then it went on longer. And then I wanted to experience the break, like Rana said. I took your direction. I took your advice. I went through that. And then here I am in 141 days or whatever it is. Doesn't matter, because it's just another day in paradise. And I reflect back now. But when I was in it, I didn't have a goal. I didn't actually really have a plan, and I still don't even have a plan. All that's happened is that every day when I wake up and I put my soles on the floor, I am in gratitude straight up. And then God comes in, and then God takes me through the day, and I don't see food like how I ever see food again. So I want to apologise to all the people that I ignored that were struggling and challenging. I can support you now because this isn't about me anymore, right? It's just about everyone else, and the love that flows through me is for you. But I was very self-absorbed in my 108 days, and I ignored you. And I didn't realise strategically, or to see what my journey was affects either in a positive way or sometimes in a negative way. But I still love you. That's all I wanted to say, Gina.
You know, you're glowing more and more every time we see you, because number one, you did your homework, which everybody else wants it now without doing the homework. They don't even want to read. They want us to rewrite it for them right there and then. And that's the difference. The doers, the ones who just blah, 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 blah. And you can see the results of the difference, right? Now, all the complainers and everything and this and that, there's no reason to apologize to them. Your wish is your command, always. So we can elevate
yeah.
and support, but
at the end of the day, we love everybody,
Yeah.
and like that's what we want. That's really the goal. At the end of the day, love and support and respect for each other. Nobody wants to hurt nobody.
MFS
We work
is
together.
here when you are ready. That's it. That's all we can say. You want to come here and complain and bash, and we're here when you're ready. All that stuff is nonsense and irrelevant to what we're doing here. And we're going to keep doing it as long as I possibly can. This is what we're doing, because I've not seen it being done in this way, or even close to nothing even close to what we're doing in this realm. And it's an amazing thing to have watched so many massive transformation, metamorphosized through, beautiful souls. And a lot of them, like, Scott and a few others that have gone through the experience and disappeared for a while, and then the soul calls them back, because what else are you going to do out there? I've gone through those just like all of you. What else are you going to do? Go back to eat? Okay, go back to eat. That's fine. But if we can find that elegant dance with the stars with our eating and fasting, you're going to be so much happier. So much happier. Some of us are going to eat more. Some of us are going to eat less. But as long as we're continuously fasting, and like I said, everybody's goal should be absolute minimum 2 days a week of a fasting lifestyle. Absolute minimum. 1 day dry, 1 day full MFS. That would be your absolute minimum goal from what I've seen in the last 3+ decades, and the last 4 years or so sharing this information with thousands and thousands of people. So the key is to come to the understanding of what the new understanding is about what less is more is actually all about, and the whole thing on our realization of only the body can feed, hydrate, build, balance, and heal itself. That sentence there, if you can grasp what that says, it throws out all the stuff we've ever been taught. Everything. Because we've been taught complete opposite, right? We've been taught we are missing, we need. Yeah. And we're working with subtraction. We're not working with addition. And people can't wrap their heads around. I've seen people coming through Master Fast, and then they go do nutritional courses and this and that. What? They didn't get what this is. Or supplements. It's just gone right through, right over them. They're going backwards, in my opinion, because I've already gone through that to come to this. Why would I want to go back to that? So there's agenda behind it, because a lot of people are coming here to find some kind of career or business. This is not what this is. This is about the soul. You want to do a business, go work, go do something. It's really funny watching people like I love people, and I love, and I continue doing this because I love people, but so many have just given me bags of shit on top of shit on top of shit. And I'm going, who do I believe anymore? It's just full of shit. Like, just in a little example, we asked somebody to answer the questions on section 13 of the notice. They don't even have the call to answer the questions for us to help them. What are they there for? They're not there for help. They're there to take. They're there to consume for a certain agenda. And that's okay. That's their soul. It has nothing to do with me, You want to take, I don't have anything to do with you with that contract. But it's just, my goodness gracious. Peace, balance, and correct conduct. This is the only way humanity is going to move forward, or we're going to self-destruct. And, the mirror of truth, it gets clearer and clearer and clearer with each fast. And Ranjit, you're a shining mirror of truth because you're experiencing it. You've really gone in and, went to feel all the experiences of all the different people. You did your homework to see, okay, what's this all about? Why are people going through all this? You've really done your homework, and then you went into it without any expectations or anything, and no kind of goals. Like me, when I fast, I have a kind of a goal, but not really. And you just let it go, flow, let it flow, and it just opens up, and you go with the trust, and everything takes care of itself, right? Like, I don't know if you've been taking pictures of yourself. Yeah.
The only thing I did, because I was so self-absorbed, I did those videos right at the beginning when I started. Then I got some photos. I think I did before and afters my first 108. So I just got photos of wherever I go. But
like if you do a photo like once a week or something, that would be interesting. You'd see changes, and once a week you see changes.
Oh yeah, I probably haven't done photos once. I should have. I didn't do that sort of stuff. I just sort of I did the video. I don't know why the soul got me to do videos on your Facebook page. That one just blows me away. But when I go back and look at them, oh, that's actually pretty powerful. Like I go, yeah, like who the hell are you? But yeah. Even then, even though I was, already on the letting go journey, I see the shit come out, right? The whatever comes out, it just comes out, and then I do you compare. Everyone do it if you want. Like compare my first video and compare to the video I just did yesterday. Like completely two different human beings.
You can take snapshots and put a whole thing, for the time frames of your photo.
Actually, that's a good idea. Yeah.
When all these years I've been fasting, I always used to do, look at the mirror, take a picture of yourself, mentally of what you're looking like, and then in a week later I do it again. And my goodness, you see the changes in 1 week out of fasting. So as your weeks are going by, you're going to see these changes. Like
and even through the second round.
Of course, it doesn't stop. It never. It's continual. It's infinite. It's just
deeper. When the second one is deeper.
Yeah, it's like what you said, Gino. You can't explain this stuff. Like anyone that's done a long one, like people that've done long ones, or whatever short ones, 40 days, you get a glimpse into it. But you can't explain this stuff.
Cook juice is dead. What's there to explain? Cook juice is dead.
It's dead, yeah. Exactly.
The understanding of what happens when you die. Where do we go? We go to the higher order of things. Same thing with the juice. Same thing with the plant. All the plants. Same thing with the animal. They go to the higher order. And I don't know how much more simple we can put it in the terms. That's what we're dealing with. We're not dealing with the physicality of the things. And people cannot grasp this. They're bastardizing, trying to use cooked juice as a juice fast. What? Okay, sure. You'll pay the price, or somebody will pay the price down the line, because we've been there, we've done that. And this is why we have what we have here. It's very meticulously structured. It didn't come out of thin air. It's decades behind us, and many, many, many wonderful teachers to have brought forth what MFS is. And I'm no genius. It's just I was so fucking stubborn. I kept doing it over and over and over and over and over again. That's all it was. I'm no different than any one of you. I just had that freaking stubbornness to say no freaking way I'm going down that path of the white jacket. There's just no way. It was not a concept I could live with myself. And that's the only thing that was different for me and anybody else in doing that. So it was a wonderful, many, many experiences. And we continue through these experiences. We continue going down these paths and come with new revelations. It's awesome. But we have Sarah. You have had some challenges today. Today's our 108. What's going on? You feeling better? If you can speak.
Like, back to you.
Hello? You're breaking up?
Can you hear me?
It's bad signal.
Okay, I will try to get back to you in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, we can't really make out what you're saying. Oh, you're driving. Okay. Anyway, contact.
She said she'll be back in 5 minutes.
Oh, okay. You got that. Yeah. So there's she's had severe pain today, as she shared, and these things are this is all part of the process. If you get freaked out, its consequences are not nice. These are, especially at times like this, people running to the ER, man. Okay, well, if that's what you want to experience, go for it. It's not something I would ever go to or suggest to people, but people have to people have to stay within their belief system. There is just they're not at the level to comprehend what's happening because they haven't done their homework, and they've some people push themselves too much is the biggest thing. So one day at a time, we move on, and the slower paces are fine. Like, I'm okay with people doing 108 days. I really am, but most are not ready. That's what everyone's shown us. So that's why, okay, let's take it a step back and let's slow things down. Really, people have to start living the lifestyle for a couple of years minimum, absolute minimum, to get the body to start changing, cleaning out, and really get the mind and the emotions to start dwelling in that new lifestyle. Because if they jump in from 108 days from whatever, and then they're back to their old ways, oh boy, it's not fun.
And we say 1 week to 6 weeks to start, with full master fast, and then live the lifestyle.
30-40 days for somebody starting off to go through a full MFS. It's okay. I wouldn't want to go much more than that. If somebody's in a real serious challenge situation, they're going to just have to be determined to never ever go back to more than 5 days a week eating after doing a long MFS. They have to have that commitment to their soul, not to me or anybody else. It's got to be to their soul, because if they don't, they may not be around that much longer. Because when the body gets memory, the body has memory from everything you've experienced, and you clean out and everything, and
go back.
Scott, as you've shared, it took over a year to start getting all these symptoms back of what you had, because the body carries that memory. If you live that lifestyle that you lived before, it's just going to go back. And it's amazing that your body, after all that huge transformation, even going back, it sustained itself for over a year. So it's remarkable how amazing our bodies are built.
I believe everybody has different challenges, of course, generational, but also environmental challenges, and when we are when we're taking care of ourselves, when we start fasting, these challenges will start healing, I would say, first, maybe. But you will see the results. You will see that let's say a thyroid will get better slowly. If you have a big thyroid, you have a cyst or something, and when you eat suboptimally after a fast, you will see the change come back to the thyroid. You'll always see the change come back to the challenged organs that you once had.
And also, things that start popping up because the weaknesses come to the surface. Oh, I had this lump after MFS or whatever.
It's not
what are you doing? Are you going back to your old ways, or are you going to continue digging? Because you just stirred the crap. You got to keep going. And this is where it's very difficult. People comprehend, because they got a diagnosis now, blah, 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 blah. All the fear sets in, and it all went over their head of what MFS is about. They just are not ready to gain that understanding, I guess. And that's okay. It's
it's amazing. Yeah.
like I said earlier, a decade in this lifestyle, it's nothing.
I mean, yeah, don't be surprised if you find a challenge as you are fasting, because that could be a hidden one that you had absolutely. I mean, it could be a tumor. You know, like by the time the body dissolves, starting with our bowels and the waste elimination organs, and then it gets to the tumor, and then like whatever, if it's like trying to heal itself, it might feel hard. It might, God knows, it might feel inflamed the area for a bit. And so
heavy duty obstructions, once they start moving out, they have challenges coming out, and this is why we have all the things we have. So,
and that's definitely not like something that started with the fast. That's something that is trying to heal with
fasting
the fast.
Doesn't grow tumors. the beauty is that which few I haven't seen anybody really understand, when you're in a fasting state and there's any changes in the physical, mental, emotional bodies, it's amazing news. We jump for joy because the body knows exactly what to do, because the soul's working in autopilot, and that's all you need to know. If you embrace that, you're not going to worry about what's happening in the body, because it's on the right track. When you're eating, I can't say that. It just doesn't work that way. Eating is a whole different ballgame, right? And the more obstructive, the more challenges you're going to have. So we do our best to eat the least obstructive foods when we eat, and that's it. And if we choose to eat more obstructive foods, we understand we're fully responsible for the consequences that we're going to experience, and it's okay if that's your choice, right? No big deal.
Sometimes we want to remind ourselves that this food is not good for me, but I just want to make sure,
We've talked about that.
You experiment with it.
I gotta just check here.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm back.
Oh, there you are.
There I am. Now I'm not in the car. It'll be much easier to conversate.
So.
Yeah, not really the way I wanted to end my fast.
Really?
No, it's not. Not what I was hoping for.
I don't know if you were on earlier. I was talking about it. My whole left leg was numb for just over a month after I broke 108 days.
Oh, really? Yeah, no, I missed that part.
Yeah, but this is where, as we're saying, a decade in this lifestyle is absolute nothing. It's very difficult for people to comprehend what it takes to completely transform the body, physical, mental, and emotional bodies in this realm, in the slow motion realm. What it actually really, 3 days, your whole immune system's rebuilt. The fasting, yeah, okay, sure. I got some.
Yeah, right.
A really good price on the moon. Everybody's laughing that's done, long master fasts, because the body does go through massive transformations, but and these are months going by.
Yeah, totally.
You shared that you were 5'4", was it, all your life, and now you're 5'5"?
Yeah, I'm a little bit over 5'5" now. I'm curious if I measure myself again, because that was a couple of weeks ago, if it was any more.
So,
but
what exactly are you experiencing
right now?
Yeah.
Well, right now I'm laying on my back with my feet up because they're so swollen, and it's the only thing that's giving me relief right now.
Your feet are swollen. You're getting some edema.
Yeah, I've had edema from like the knee down in both legs for maybe the last like 2.5 weeks, kind of like on and off, which is interesting because I've noticed that probably for like the first like 90 days, there was like so much plaque and mucus coming out. Like I would swear, like every time it was just like pounds, like 2 to 3 pounds of it. Like, and I couldn't even take I took pictures of a couple, but I couldn't even take pictures of it because it was just so much and so big. I couldn't even lift it off the dang toilet. It's ridiculous.
So,
But after,
you
go ahead.
just as you see what's coming on now, you have to gain that in how much work those kidneys are enduring for moving that stuff out. Not only from the
Totally.
So this is where people
Totally.
don't comprehend that, and that's why you're experiencing edema. The kidneys are just overworked, and they went into spasm. And this is why you're experiencing this pain. So now,
Yeah.
you're today you're breaking or tomorrow?
I did. I broke earlier, like maybe 2 hours ago.
Watermelon?
Cassava melon.
Okay, whatever. Beautiful. Melons are great. So melons would be very wise to stick onto. They're really good for helping edema as well. You know, you can even cook some of that and drink it, you know, cooked, or you can, you know, eat the watermelon itself. So just continue that, continue massaging those kidneys, castor oil packs, use the burn stick, you know, use the acupressure points, and keep moving, keep using the tools, be very careful what you eat. Be very careful.
Yeah. No. Sorry, you broke up. What?
Have you done anything differently
She's moving a lot of stuff.
since you started getting the edema? Physically moving?
No, but what I was going to say is I noticed that like the plaque after about 90, I didn't mark the day, but it was about 90 days or so, it started getting less, like smaller pieces. But what was coming out was looking more like green and like little, I don't know, like little rocks, little like chunks and
The odor?
lots of, yeah, it smelled. And it got to the point where I finally, because I hadn't been using baking soda, but I felt like it was burning, so I started putting baking soda and all the enemas and stuff. And so for these last, like, what, 2.5 weeks, that's what's, every time I'm doing the enemas, that's what's releasing is, like, the little rocks and the short little pieces of plaque and lots of, like, green, brownish green liquid.
How many?
Sounds like the liver's purging.
Yeah, well, and there's a lot in that liver with all the pharmaceuticals I've taken and street drugs and alcohol back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
So
we've all been there, you know. So
yeah,
this is where, you know, as you're going along on these long digestive vacations, it goes deeper and deeper and deeper. Deeper.
I would keep taking, even when you're eating, I would keep taking the bowel formula and the kidney formula. Just
bowel and kidney, okay.
And I would keep doing, for the edema, I would keep washing my bowels.
Yeah.
How many liters?
Keep those bowels moving.
How many liters of liquid do you do for enemas?
Like 6 to 10.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
But I think my thing is more probably in the last, I think I shared something about it, but in the last, I don't know if it's quite been a month, but definitely the last few weeks, like not feeling like I'm able to release it all. Like still, a lot of times I'll go out and I'll like jump on the trampoline or something to see if I can, or walk around to try to help get like that last bit, but feeling really like bloated and stuff too.
But you're releasing with the enemas, right?
Yeah, but I just feel like not all the water, like some of it gets stuck.
Yeah.
Like it's not all coming out.
Yeah, so don't be discouraged if this goes on for whatever, a few weeks or a month or so. Just continue on the system, continue following, continue eating clean.
Yeah.
You know, use these herbs to support, and you're going to have to really nurture those kidneys. Because when you're eating, because now you start eating, it doesn't all get better with food.
Yeah.
New stress you introduce to the body, but you know, I don't want you to continue fasting, that's for sure. But you know, continue with at least 2 days a week of 1 day MFS, 1 day dry fast, so on. Continue your dry fasting schedule and move on. If your edema starts seeming to get more, then you move into a little bit of a longer dry to help that, and continue with the melons and so on and so forth. So
Okay.
everything's fine. Just don't go into a freaked out mode like some people would. You got to understand that when you're fasting, things can and will change quickly, and dry fasting is even quicker. And you embrace it all. Change is good news. It doesn't feel good, especially right
Yeah.
now, but it's all good news because the body knows exactly what it's doing. And as you've explained, you started moving some deeper stuff out, and that's why the kidneys are overwhelmed.
Yeah.
This is where,
That's what I was kind of.
yeah, this is where most everyone would be saying, oh, you're missing this vitamin, that mineral, this fat, and yeah, okay, sure.
Totally. And with this, like, it was so almost annoying to me, like, because several people know that, like, what I'm doing, and that I haven't taken, anything. And I was like, well, just go take some ibuprofen. Like, no! Fucking crazy? You're not going to do that? Well, I was annoyed. But
you don't have to, satisfy anybody else. Just keep on the path and know that what you're doing, the body doesn't make mistakes during fasting. It just doesn't. I've never ever seen it. Never. That's all. It only
yeah,
when you take drugs or whatever.
right. And still doing enemas even when I'm eating. Yes.
Yeah. If your bowels start really moving on their own really, really well, I would still do enemas. Not as much, but I would still do them.
And if you're having the edema, I would keep doing the enemas.
I do pretty much every day I'm eating.
Because one of the best ways to help your kidneys is to wash your bowels. It's a toxic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Keep things moving at all times, at all costs. That's the key.
I know. Now I'm all even more nervous since I'm leaving for Jamaica in like 2 weeks.
Take your enema.
Like, I'm totally planning on it.
Yeah.
Be in nature. Go to the water. Be under the sun.
Yeah.
A lot of changes.
Definitely been out in the sun a lot. But okay. Well, thank you.
And congrats. Good job.
Yeah. Thank you.
Let's see where you are in 6 months.
How was the melon?
It was so sweet and juicy. I only ate like a few tiny pieces, and I was like, okay, that's enough. But it's funny, I wasn't even hungry. I think my kids were more excited about it than I was. Like, oh, when are you gonna eat? When are you gonna eat?
The hunger will come as you eat more.
Oh God, I'm sure. I can only imagine.
Usually the second day.
No. I'll probably wake up being like, oh, where's breakfast?
If you want to get thirsty, drink. If you want to get hungry, eat. That's the main, it's the way.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I've still been drinking the juices. Like for today, I've still been drinking the juice and other.
Do you exercise?
I'm kind of like the worst at that. No, like not officially. I mean, I'm moving a lot. Like I'm constantly walking and, like in the garden or doing housework, that kind of stuff. But like, do I like sit down and do yoga, or do I sit down and, do something like that? Like, no, I don't. I wouldn't. Huh?
Good time to start.
I know. I can't figure out how to make it work into my schedule, being like I'm mostly single parent with 2 small kids. Like how do and like I don't make a lot of money, so like how do I get up early to go running, or how do I get up early to do something else, or go to yoga after work, but I have to pick them up from daycare. And
Right.
I know they're, you know, seemingly excuses, but like for me, I just haven't figured out where it works in our daily schedule. And so that's been my struggle, and that's something that I absolutely know I need to figure out.
Maybe include your kids into a 20-minute, half an hour little routine. You know, like I have that video on the back exercises, which will really help, because when the kidneys go in spasm, what I found is they put pressure on the spine, which pinches the nerve, and that's where the pain comes from. So you need to have energy continuously move in that area too, so they don't stay in that spasmodic state and tighten things up. You need to open it up, and the exercise will really help, the physical exercises. But you got to do them every day. So 15, 20 minutes with your kids and make it a fun thing. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I just need to like find that balance, you know, and that's definitely one of my goals of like how to add that in. And I watched some video, like your video on the back exercises, and I've been looking at other stuff. And I've tried like a little bit, but it was too much for me. So I was like, okay, I'll try again in like an hour. You know, and then
you don't want to. You want to be in a little bit of discomfort, and that's it. You don't want to exert yourself in too much pain. But a little bit of discomfort's fine. Little by little, you'll see. You'll overcome it.
Yeah, definitely going to be slow. I don't want to push myself. So
it's not fun being in these states, but I've only seen people come out of fasting stronger every time. It may take a while for the body to adjust after a long fast, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, whatever. But you're stronger. Always. Because you got rid of so much gunk, and that's what weakens us. It's the gunk, the obstructions. It's nothing to do with nothing to do with any of that nonsense.
No, totally. I agree. I mean, it's just crazy, like the amount of stuff.
You cannot grow over an inch with nutrition. It doesn't work, especially as an adult. Right?
I know, it's funny. I've told a few people, and they like don't believe me. They're like, that's not possible. I'm like, okay. Not
for
gonna.
you. It's okay. No problem.
I'm not gonna argue with you, but you know, you can measure me if you want. I really am.
Oh,
but I've noticed changes in my eyes too, which has been kind of cool to watch. And I need to take like after. Oh, there's my daughter. They say hi. Hi. I need to take after pictures now, but I mean, just like looking in the mirror, I can see like a big difference. Obviously, there's still a ton of work to do, but that's been kind of cool to watch also.
It's a lifetime journey. Who cares about the lot of work? It's a lifetime journey.
Totally. But it was nice for me to see it. I think that like there's like some validation of like, oh look, it is kind of working. Yeah, there's a little difference happening.
Yeah.
So
it's awesome.
Yeah.
Everybody's eyes get brighter. You know, everybody's who fast, their eyes get brighter. You can see right away. The skin starts to glow more, the hair and everything. Everybody. I've not seen the actual physical changes in the eyes. Some people do. You see, we have seen changes in it, which is pretty quick. The younger the people are, the more changes you'll see quicker. The more we're it takes a little bit longer.
I've definitely had a lot of hair loss, which makes me sad, but I know it'll grow back. And that it's its way of, you know, shedding.
Michelle Gibson lost tons of hair, and then it grew back like crazy.
Yeah, I think for me, because my hair was down like to my butt, and now it's probably like mid chest. So for me, it's like really short. Like, I want my long hair back, but you know, it'll come.
Yeah, healthier.
Um,
The body will only
what?
come back healthier. The body only
Yeah.
it doesn't want. So you know, for me, with fasting eating, the beginning of a fast, I would lose hair, and then um, like later on in the fast, I just love my hair, much less hair loss, much less. I mean, there's no comparison. And when I eat, it takes time. It depends what I eat. If I, you know, at some point I don't eat too well, I start losing again. I start losing a lot of hair, and
Yeah.
it will be very clear to you. It takes time to do these things, but it's always good. You know, the body only releases what it doesn't want when we're fasting.
Yeah. I think I've lost the most in like these last few weeks. I think when I kind of saw that shift of,
Yeah.
you know, different release and more like suddenly my skin had cleared up a lot. And then in the last couple of weeks again, like almost like weird rashy. It was like on my face, mostly around like my jawline and on the randomly on the back of my hand.
Were you drinking enough juice?
I think that has probably been like one of my biggest struggles is drinking enough.
Yeah.
Because some days just like so nauseated by it and like trying my best to like get as much down as possible, but not quite making the 2 liters. Some days were fine and then it was, you know, the next day it would be terrible. So I guess my answer would be not consistently.
This is the outcome of drowning in your own filth, is the terminology we use.
Totally.
Can't move it out quick enough, and that's why washing, flushing continuously is so important, especially on the longer fast. And this is very difficult for people to understand. I'm not full of shit, and people think, okay, whatever, sure.
And that's when we tell people you can't drink. Start either drinking the green juices to slow things down.
Yeah, you can do get into some green juices that'll help cool things down as well.
Yeah.
Or otherwise we say just break your fast. You know, if people cannot drink anymore.
Yeah, for me, I don't have a juicer, and so that made that hard to do that. But on those kind of days, because I would always do it in the morning, like the 6 to 10 liters, like right when I woke up. But then if I was having one of those days, I would do that same like again before, like when I ended it for the day, in the evening. So trying to recognize, you know, that it needs to be flushed out more.
Yeah, there's a few people who've had, you know, kidney challenges. You know, Steve has kidney challenges, big times, and there's quite a few people, you know, because the body's loaded up, man. It's got to move out, and I've had kidney challenges most of my life, and you know, once I got into the dry fasting, that's when everything changed. The MFS, and
Yeah.
I was getting, you know, it wouldn't break free completely until I started dry fasting and understanding how to dry fast and so on and so forth. So that's the other thing now. Once you go back on food, wait a few months. What's the next season change coming up? You know, try and go for
Fall.
a longer dry fast. How long you been fasting?
Yeah.
I remember you said you were fasting before.
Do you mean dry fasting?
Yeah.
Or you just mean fasting in general?
Dry fasting. Did you have fasting experience prior to MFS?
No.
Nothing?
No. Nothing. I went for it.
Okay.
Which I know. But I felt like I had to, I mean, I went into it just like, let's see what happens. And like, I mean, I wanted to get to 108, but it wasn't, I was like, you know, let's see if I can make it to 40. But I was feeling so good that, you know, like I was feeling so much better that just releasing all that. So I wanted to keep going. And it was really until these last few weeks where it got hard.
Yeah, you can always
But
break before the 108, for everybody who's, if you have a hard time, just break it, break it and make it a lifestyle, that's what matters to you. That's the hard
yeah,
That's like, it's not really hard, but it's just, it requires energy, like Scott was saying, to flip, between fasting and eating, right? It takes
right.
that's like, whereas with fasting, you don't really need to change too much.
Well,
Yeah,
in an eating world, the understanding of living a fasting lifestyle just doesn't sink into in us. It just doesn't sink in. We're in an eating, so that's the difficulty. You can live a fasting lifestyle. You don't have to. You can continue eating, right?
yeah, yeah,
Want to, go places where few go, and being a pain-free body and endless energy. You're not going to do it with an eating lifestyle. It doesn't happen.
right.
You're going to have a limited time of that because most of it's done through stimulation, right?
Yeah, definitely.
False energy.
Well,
So
thank you guys.
stay connected.
And good job, you did amazing. Just
You're
be gentle with yourself.
Thank you.
There's no need to
Yes, and be patient.
don't be discouraged. Stay connected and continue supporting, using all the tools, and be wise. Be wise. Be wise. Take notes, whatever. Write down. Be focused. You gotta be focused in times like this.
and be connected with us.
You've been through a lot in your life, the drugs, this and that, like all of us. So the body's got a lot of work to do now. In the next 6 months is another transformation of breaking the fast, at least.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, definitely.
Is a year process, pretty much. It's a year process. But the way we've changed things for people to come to the understanding is 5 days a week maximum eating. Don't go back to 7 days.
Yeah, yeah. Which will be interesting to do while I'm on vacation, but I'll make it work.
Jamaica, you'll have access to good fruits.
Yeah, go.
Oh, yeah. I mean like the fasting days.
Yeah, Jamaica's got awesome food. You're next week coming. You can go to a chiropractor.
Yes, Monday.
Yeah, that will help relieve put it back in place because it's usually the SI joints that go out when all these spasms start happening. Things squeeze. If you feel your lower back, it's going to be probably really, really tight, especially in one area. And the SI joint gets locked in a position, and it causes pain because it pinches the nerve. So
yeah,
adjustment usually it relieves it instantaneously. The pain doesn't go away, but you can feel a relief. Icing it, keep icing it though.
yeah,
10 minutes right on the skin every hour that you're awake. Keep icing it, keep icing it, keep icing it. When I was in Venezuela for a chiropractor, they didn't even know what it was. They didn't have no chiropractors. I had no choice. I had to keep icing. I kept doing yoga. I was forcing myself through the pain and so on. And people are watching me on the beach, and one old man said, "Hey, you're getting better." A week later, you're getting better.
Aw.
Because it was limping. I could barely walk. So you got to do what you got to do. Ice is your best friend for these situations. Everything else, and all the other.
Yeah, the ice packs are back in the freezer right now. I'll get them out in a little bit.
Yeah, keep using them.
Yeah,
Awesome.
definitely. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll let other people talk now.
Who else we got? We got David. Hello. Christine's. Hello. Judith. Hello. Oliver. Hello. Inga. Cynthia. Hello, Cynthia. Hans. Hello, Hans. Susan. Connie. Steve, of course. Scott. And Ranjit. Big crowd. I think some of us are starting to grasp what it really takes to, make the metamorphosis and the changes in our lifestyles, and it's a commitment to a lifelong journey. Mastery of anything is a lifelong journey, and if anybody wants to sell you something else, if you believe it hard enough, maybe it'll happen. I don't know. I haven't seen that myself. But your wish is your command, so choose wisely. Anybody else want to share anything? Where are we at? Oh, we're coming up to 2 hours.
I want to hear from Steve, because I know he's sort of fasting and eating at the same time. So I need to hear from my brother that he's okay.
That's not an easy thing to do for me. It is not an easy thing to do. I'm failing more than I'm succeeding in it, I'll be honest with you.
It's not failing, it's falling.
Well, that's not, yeah, I didn't mean it that way. But
yeah, it's part of the journey.
Yes. Yes. I can still get through the first day, no problem. The second day, that addiction just starts kicking in.
Yeah.
By the third day, forget it. Scott knows. Scott explained it so well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Maybe do one day.
And that's hard, you know. That's hard.
How's the kidneys?
Everything. Yeah. Well, I'm eating. There's no pain at all.
At all. Nothing.
None at all. Zero.
Wow.
And what did I do? 3 days. I think 3 days I fasted this week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah, because I had a colonic on Wednesday. It started up Wednesday. 3 days.
Wow.
After the colonic?
Huh?
After the colonic?
Actually, before. Actually, it was probably about 54 hours in. It started.
Oh, my goodness.
It's like, whoa. I don't know. That's challenging, I'll tell you.
Was that fast and liquids? Or was it dry?
No, it was all wet.
Okay, all wet. Yeah.
I was going to dry after the colonic, but that didn't happen either. Wow.
We're with you, brother.
I got my first cucumber. It's like I could not eat. I had to eat that. I had to eat it.
That's excellent. That's fine.
It was fantastic.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
That's a challenge too now, because all the vegetables are starting to come in.
Yeah. Well, enjoy them, man.
Oh, I am, but I mean, it's just going to be a challenge. I gotta get that balance.
What you can do is 1 meal a day.
Yeah, I have closed the window. I have closed the window down a bit, so that's I'm getting there.
Like maybe let's say
I've extended the dry out and closed down the wet window. I'm like 16 hours dry now.
Yeah.
Nobody said it was easy.
Oh no, but and I got that other project that is finally coming to an end. That's just consuming so much of my energy. You know, it's hard to. It's been difficult to stay focused here. So.
Yeah, well,
That's where I'm at.
Well, sometimes when you're busier doing things, it's easier.
Now, I'm not finding that to be the case.
No.
Not when you. I feel like when I'm eating, I feel like I just don't. I want minimal projects when I'm eating, but when I'm fasting.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to be doing anything. I don't even want to be eating. I don't know. I feel so much better when I'm not eating. Not that I feel bad, but I feel better when I don't eat. The energy level is absolutely through the roof.
Yep.
And now the body's taking so much time to do the digestion, and it's.
Yeah, but then you said after maybe 2 days into the into the master fast, then you start feeling the kidneys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. This time, yeah. This from this last time, yes.
How many liters of enemas are you doing, and how much?
Not enough, but I just ordered a Kalima board, so.
Awesome.
Probably 6 liters. It's not enough.
That'll help you. You'll see.
But I am doing the colonics every 2 weeks, so that's kind of making up a little bit.
Yeah, it helps, but the daily is important as well.
Yeah.
Daily colima would really help. That would really help. I think the most, people with kidney problems, honestly, the best thing, in my opinion, they can do is wash their colon.
Yeah.
Because what happens, they're very obstructed, and the waste is going through,
The whole system.
all over, and then the kidneys are filtering, right? So the kidneys are blocked with all the waste in the body that's coming from the food.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh, I know, and I'm eating, and especially when I get off track, I'm just adding to the problem. I get it. I mean, I understand it. It's just
It's also, we're building toxins through our thoughts, right? Continuously. And,
it's a cycle.
Stresses and this and that and so on and so forth. So there's a lot going on in the physical body, even through the emotional side, which is really where everything happens. But we got to deal with all of that. And the kidneys, these little two miraculous organs, they do so much work. So much work.
We can deal with the stress better when we're fasting than when we're eating, right?
Yeah. Yes.
That's why it's best to fast more than eat.
Well, we find our balance, and we're going to go through struggles and challenges and so on and so forth. And as long as we understand all that, we work around it and do the best we can. That's all we can do. In this, eating world, we got to do the best we can do. Once you come to that realization, going back to 7 days a week of eating, man, it's
Never happened. Never happened. 4 days tops.
And another thing I would do is the castor oil. I would your kidneys are not too happy.
No, they're not at all. They're pretty angry.
Do my best to just
keep
help
supporting
those kidneys. So one thing is we said washing as much as you can, the colon, and then I would totally get into the castor oil. It's actually very comforting when you're sleeping. Just wrap yourself and forget about it. And the heat, it's really nice. It softens the whole thing, the obstructions,
Yeah.
And then I would.
That's right. I have it. I bought the kit. I just have not tried it yet.
Yeah, do it. Get into it. Make it a habit before you sleep. Just put it.
3 days on, 3 days off, 3 days on, 3 days off. That's Edward Casey? What's his first name? Edward? I can't remember now.
Yeah, so you can do
Edgar Casey.
So just 3 days a week, maybe 3 days a week, maybe, or 4.
3 days. Yeah, you can do 3 days a week, sure.
Yeah.
4 days off.
In a row, so that it's deeper,
Yep.
And you can sleep with it, as I said. It's very comforting with the warmth, The other thing I would do, I have a cane, massage cane that I use for the kidneys. It helps you really push into the kidneys, and it hurts, but it's good. It helps you soften the tissue. Kidney massage is not fun. If Gino does sometimes.
The last time it literally doubled me over. The left kidney. I mean, I was doubled over. Wow.
Have you had massage in your kidney?
Have
you done before?
Yeah, it's been when I was in the 62 days. It was the last month was pretty challenging with it.
Yeah.
That's why I ended up breaking. But see, I don't, especially listen, because, I'll be honest, I didn't do my homework either. I thought it was just going to be a piece of cake, right? I still have that little bit of arrogance, but
we all do.
Yeah, listen to everybody,
Like if you go through all the posts, you'll see.
Yeah, I've been studying a lot of the posts. I don't post a lot, but I read a lot. I'm really starting to read, and
yeah.
Ranji's been a great help with some other areas that are still, I still have to find some resolution on, but we're getting there.
Most of the challenges that people are experiencing are, of course, bowels, but kidneys.
No, it starts with the bowels.
Yeah, they're both. Right? But so the kidneys. Number one is, people are drinking so much water. They stress the hell out of those things. and they're so obstructed, they can't work properly, and they're just overworked all the time. You know, and then they're being bombarded with stimulants like coffee and so on and so forth, which makes it even worse. So, you know, it's amazing that, you know, the human body can run.
Well, I got that. I only drink the tea, and I love the tea. And I drink the juice. I don't drink anything. I haven't had water since probably September of last year.
You're still alive.
Amazing, huh?
Which tinctures do you have?
I think I have 15 now. I'm up to the 12 plus 3.
Yeah, the 12 has like 3 kidney.
Yeah.
Three kidneys. And the heart-to-heart longevity and the kidney. And maybe increase the dose of the kidneys, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
You know,
Get the balls moving.
It'll be, you know, when the day comes that you find a little bit of that relief. Oh, you know, I was at it for decades, and I'm going, my goodness gracious, man. Nobody had any answers. I had to, you know, keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going because there was no answers out there. No answers.
It's just part of the journey. So.
Yeah. It's and now we're in Mercury retrograde. You know, I love these energies. What happened? Her phone, she went to change. It wasn't working. I had to go back. My mother's essential oil diffuser conked out today. And what else? There was something else.
So
the engine light on my car came on. But it always, in this time, it's just really, really funny and weird to watch it. Just embrace it all and laugh.
Just be silly about it and enjoy and laugh.
I'll have to put some pictures up of my big garden because I've got it looking absolutely gorgeous this year.
Figs?
We've got compliments from the town this year on the garden.
Nice.
I'll post some pictures on it. It's beautiful, absolutely
Awesome.
beautiful. Working my butt off, but that's right. I love it. You should.
This is your source of fuel.
Yeah, these other guys, you should see them. They're from the south here, so they're out there. Always got a hat on. They got flannel shirts on. No sun's hitting them whatsoever. And I'm out there, shirt off, fucking the sun up. Oh, it's beautiful, man. I was out there today. It was all by myself. It was great. It was all by myself. I was just stringing up my tomatoes.
This is your source of fuel, Steve. All that, you know, your love for what you're doing. That's your fuel. You're giving and you're receiving.
Yeah, there's no better place for me than in that garden.
Yeah. Awesome.
Oh, it's great.
I wish everybody would have a garden, no?
Yeah.
Because, you know, that physical exertion, whatever it is, you're going to feel better. You're going to feel better when you move. And
love it.
With plants and dirt, my goodness.
That's what I was saying about the energy level. You know, when I was in that a couple of weeks ago, so I was attempting again to go 21 days. And 8 days in that period, I was tilling at 90-degree temperature here, 3 hours a day. Plus working the 2 jobs. I mean, I felt I was sleeping like 4 hours. I felt like. I mean, dude.
It's indescribable to people.
It is. It's really indescribable. And then I start eating, and I can hardly get out of bed.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a little dramatic, but you know.
No, I know, but the mirror of truth is very clear.
Yes, it is.
It's amazing. Where you know, when people start telling you that energy comes from food, bull crap, man. That's not what I'm experiencing.
Absolutely not.
Hey, Gino, maybe
and yet there's still that addiction.
Yeah.
Maybe it's time to change the protocol and add gardening. I mean, it doesn't have to be it doesn't even have to be massive, right? I mean, it could just be in a simple indoor garden. I have found, you know, just working with plants in general.
Yeah, man, growing sprouts. I did that for a long time, for almost 15 years. It's awesome. You know, it's awesome. Everybody should do something. Play with some plants.
It's so beautiful.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
whatever. It's, no matter how simple, whatever. Get a few plants in your house and take care of them. But being out, there's something magical about being outdoors, putting your hands in the dirt, you know, very magical. You know, feeling that energy of the earth and so on and so forth. Interesting.
That's magic. It really is. Put your hands in the soil, and it is magical. It really is.
Awesome. Anybody else?
Hi, Gino, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes.
How are you?
Awesome. Freaking amazing.
It's good. I just want to first thank Scott. Thank you for coming back. Your Zoom used to be one of my favorite Zoom that I watched when I did my first 1OA. And I'm going to be honest, I was a little bit sad when I saw you that you disappeared from the group because I follow a lot all the, the posts you were putting on or the response you were telling to people. And it really resonated with me. It really helped me during my first 108. So thanks, Scott, for coming back.
You're welcome, Judith. I mean, as much as you guys have gotten from whatever I have done, I mean, I've gotten so much from everybody as well. It's always it's a joy to just feel the back and forth in this group.
Yes, it is. We are so lucky to have this Sunday Zoom. I mean, I look forward like every week. That's my treat for the weekend. It's not party or going drinking or whatever. It's just the Sunday morning Zoom for me here. So I thanks Gino and Marna, of course, and all the people are here now. And we're getting more and more people. This is so exciting to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I look forward to them every week as well, you know. This is why we keep going.
Yeah, and then like you keep saying, like you have to stay close to the group if you want to live it and love it, the lifestyle.
Yeah.
That's the only way you can do it, because out there it's just, it's a jungle. Like you don't know what to believe, you don't know what to try. And I'm actually on day 5 today on a full MFS. Yeah, I've been struggling for like probably more than 6 months to just get the money that I need to buy the 12 tinctures. And I had a friend of mine here in Perth who actually was moving to Thailand, and he's just used his tinctures for like a month or just 1 month. Mm-hmm. So I got it from him, and I was like, God, this is a sign. So I just have to jump back into it. So, and it's amazing to see like in 5 days what can change in your life. I mean, my sleep's been better, my skin's getting some color, my digestive system, I don't feel as bloated as I was, even I'm still, but it's just like day and night, just 5 days. It's completely my energy, my connection. It's just unbelievable. I can't believe it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, it's the mirror of truth. You know, you don't even have to believe in anybody. Believe in your soul. Your soul's talking to you when you're fast.
Yeah, that's so true.
Right?
Yeah. So thank you again, guys, and Gino and Rana.
You're welcome. All right, guys. We'll wrap it up. And thanks, Scott. Thank you so much again for sharing your story, so we can inspire more people and everybody else who's contributed. And we keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going. You know, that's what we do. So let's keep that plasma love flowing. Love you all. And we'll see you on the page. We'll see you next week. And thank you so much again. Ciao.
Yeah. Love you.
Thanks, Gino. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Scott. Bye.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Ciao.
Ciao.